Last year I was critical of the way Geelong Football Club handled the media in a couple of situations. I just want to say that the situation after Tom Stewart cleaned up Dion Prestia there, right, that was his worst moment. And basically from that moment on, he did not put a foot wrong, and nor did the Geelong Football Club, led by their coach, Chris Scott. Right from that moment at three-quarter time, you knew that he felt he'd let himself, his team, and more importantly, Dion Prestia down. Let's hear from Chris Scott straight after the game, who set the tone for what I thought was an elegant situation coming out of a disaster.
When I spoke to him post-game, he said, "I've just made a horrible error and I feel terrible about it." It's okay. He said, "I ran past the ball and I chose to bump. I didn't mean to do it, but gee, it was terrible execution and I'm going to pay the price for it." And I wouldn't normally be this expansive, but I thought it speaks to the man.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, it wasn't a coach saying, "I didn't see it," or "it wasn't on the replay," and all that sort of stuff. Told the truth, owned up to it, and more importantly than that even is that the AFL Tribunal got it right. From Michael Christian referring it straight to the Tribunal giving 4 weeks, which was the right penalty. Next year it might be 6, but that was the one. 4 weeks was right. And then Tom Stewart, straight afterwards, looking like a professional, had this to say.
Well, as I said from the start, I accept the Tribunal's decision. I was left to their discretion, and obviously disappointed in my actions, and I had to own that as a man. And still, my immediate response was Dion's wellness and that of his family that have had to experience this. So, as disappointed and disheartened as I am right now, it's still not about me. It's still about Dion's well-being and how he is.
Yeah, totally agree. Well done to Richmond as well, who didn't carry on. They copped it. I feel for Dion Prestia, of course, we all do. But right at the end there, Tom Stewart, I thought at the end, for having a big black mark next to his name early in that game, finished up with a tick and showed great poise and elegance and professionalism. And that is the role model that we should be pointing out to kids. Don't worry about the rat bags. Get the good people and point out what they're doing.
I'd also tell kids not to do what Tom Stewart did to Dion Prestia.
I think he's done that.
And quite frankly, Chris Scott is a good person, Tom Stewart is a good person. Really, do we need to laud them for doing the right thing? Of course they had to do that. Yeah. He did not have a leg to stand on.
But not every club would have handled it as well as they have.
Plenty of clubs have butchered that situation, Caro.
Well, that's fair enough, and I agree with everything Ed said.
That's my editorial.
But let's not... No, but... Well, I'm allowed to do... I just think...
You're editorialing on my editorial.
People do the right thing and we laud them. I mean, I think we should...
No, you're not, Caro, I don't think we do. I can hardly pick up the paper these days. Or even watch shows, and even coming here we've got to check ourselves. I'm not saying I'm above or to the side of this, but I think we do have to pick out. We talk about the guys who fall the wrong way and say, "Oh, they're not a good role model." Yeah, well, I take my kids to the footy and say, "See him? He's a knucklehead. Don't do what he does. He's a role model for being stupid. See him? He's a star. See this bloke? Owned up, stood up, did it well. He's the role model."
Eddie, just say what Caro says on a Monday. Don't comment on the arrow. And then
he did the wrong thing. Anyway, just on that, now St Kilda probably didn't handle a situation this week all that well. Now, you were making calls on Monday morning to the Saints about Brad Hill, and were met with denials and no comments, I gather. By that night, a Perth radio station was reporting there'd been a pub fight involving Paddy Ryder and Brad Hill, which was denied and not true. There was maybe a verbal altercation involving Hill, but no fight, no physical fight. Yep. Do you think St Kilda would have been better off just to say what had happened if they knew the truth?
Well, I guess it depends what lens you look at it, Caro. Because they would say that the questions that I posed to them was, why didn't Brad Hill play? Well, personal reasons, none of your business. Well, did it have anything to do with he and Paddy Ryder, being out the previous weekend? Well, it's an 8-day break, so they're allowed to be out if they were. That's fine. Ryder was never going to play. So at that point, I don't have a story. Now, when Kim Hagdorn goes with, there was suddenly a pub brawl and they were dropped. St Kilda are forced to clarify
From your questioning, how long later?
Did Kim go with that?
Yeah.
I'd call it 12 hours, 10 hours.
Right, but once it's with you, it's bubbling. Get on the front foot, get the immediate person and address it, because someone else is going to...
But I feel like they thought they didn't need to address 3 guys having a few beers on an 8-day break, and they didn't fight.
Clearly Brad Hill did not turn up to training 2 days in a row. Didn't turn up, I think, to the Sunday Footy Show. There was something going on there, and that must have been linked to why he didn't play. I don't know why St Kilda wasn't on the front foot and honest. I know, fair enough, bag the media who got it completely wrong.
Yeah.
But get on the front foot at the beginning and be honest.
Get it completely right, yeah.
Yep.